Okay, I think ad time is over. Is it? I think it is. Okay. In that case, just a second. There we go. Okay, everything seems to be in order, so we can get started. Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing good. Today I got a commission from someone who'd rather remain anonymous so far. And we're doing Hato. Yes, we're doing Hato today. So I had already started to do a little bit last night. And we're gonna start with the space sprite, and I'm gonna have to think long and hard about how I want to animate it. We're gonna do the idle animation of this, and we'll see where it takes us. We'll see where it takes us. Yes. So I hope you all are doing good today. Let me get some music for us. Hello, Lunatic. How are you doing? Hi. Hope you're doing good today. But yes, we're doing the pigeon. Le pigeon. We're drawing pigeons today, chat. Doing pretty good. What about you? I'm doing pretty good too. Yes. Wait. What did I draw in this that I shouldn't have? I can find it. Anyways. Right, that one pixel. That's great to hear, Lunatic. That's great to hear. I still haven't found the time to do the slicing. I think I'm gonna have to do it this weekend. I'm gonna have to take some of my time off and actually do it. Oh, by the way, chat, just a reminder. This weekend we have Scuff Day. And this Scuff Day, I want to do something special. Right? So over on Discord, I added Ramochi added the list, a place where you can add your favorite webtoons for us to read together. Yes. If you have a webtoon you think it's particularly interesting and you'd like to show me and you'd like to see me react to it and voice act a little bit, that we'll be doing that. That's what we'll be doing. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. I know Medina seemed pretty excited with the prospect. I haven't read a webcomic in so long, and my understanding is that Webtoons is the new Kingspot, what Kingspot once was. The place where you see where young creatives of the internet wanting to bring something new have converged. Yes. And that some pretty good anime even came out of there, like One Punch Man and Solo Leveling. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to see what the site is like. And I also remember that there are some pretty outrageous ones in the mix. And I would love to see what the site has to offer. If you have a suggestion, once again, you can send it over on the Discord. There is a session for that. We made a session for that. And it should be fun. Should be fun. So, yeah. How are you today, chat? I hope you're doing good. I think Mamucha said this yesterday. We recently found a content creator that's probably actually pretty big, and they're probably late to it, but regardless. There's this content creator called Shingding, and he makes like some experimental string stuff that is really funny to watch. It's really funny to watch, and I highly recommend it. Essentially, the whole string, thank you for the pet, Lunatic, the whole string is just like one big improv. It's basically one big improv session that which chat is a part of, and like that is like mad respect for him doing that, coming up with setups and stuff like that. It's like, holy crap, the dude cooks. It's impressive. Okay, so we go this here. Do this here. Hello, Camel God. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. And speaking of content creators that I think are worth checking out, there is this one guy from Japan called Sora the Troll. Even though he's from Japan, he makes videos sorta in English. They're subtitled. He works as a translator. Apparently his day job is translating stuff. So he uses his translating and very much superior English to your average Japanese person to make some really interesting videos. He does a lot of videos regarding let's say cultural bridging is a good way to say. Love the art. Also, was that the DMC on the TV? It was the Devil May Cry on the television. It absolutely was. I was thinking, what characters could I make? Because I was like, I'm gonna make a simple loop. I need a simple loop of two characters clashing over and over. Who fits the theme of clashing over and over for all eternity? Ah, right. The show was the worst thing ever? Really? Really? I've been hearing a lot of mixed takes on the show. I feel like I have to watch it at some point now. Just to see what I think of it. Because a lot of people are not liking it, and it's making me curious, quite honestly. Because, like, I'm not the kind of fan that goes like, this is a betrayal to the source material. I only do that with Battle Angel Alita / Galley, Hyper Future Vision Gun. But even so, I'm still self-aware enough to know that I'm doing that. And I'm probably not giving a fair take, right? I like how I just got here and know the topic is likely DMs. Yep. Hey Rad, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? You know what? Hold up. I need a vengeance, you know? Because Hato made a ball toggle for my model when he rigged it. I feel like it's only fair if I do this. There we go. Exactly, you gotta add the shine. I'm even gonna use the blur tool for this. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Hold up, Hato has no ears. Hold up, let me make some ears here. Let me make some ears. Hato has ears, right? No, he does. It's on the other farms that he will have the animal ears instead. There you go. Where is the pigeon? There you go. Anyways. Looks like he did 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and 100 squats. That is, I know that's like... By superhero standards, there's like nothing too special about that training. But that would actually leave you pretty sore. Doing that every day would absolutely leave you sore. Oh. Yeah, kind of the joke really is that it's the most realistic training in anime because everyone is like expecting some Dragon Ball Z bullshit, and it's like that's an actual training regimen. That actually reminds me, I don't know if you guys ever saw this, but there are actually several videos of like bodybuilders trying the Saitama training regimen. And apparently it's pretty solid. It is actually a pretty solid training regimen. Most of them were like, huh, this ain't half bad actually. The videos were mostly made back when like the show was ungodly popular. So before the second season came out, so but which is a shame that the second season killed most of the hype the show had going for it because of the budget cuts and all that, but I think the writing was still pretty solid. I don't know. I say this, but I didn't finish watching it either, so yeah. The Sakuga was pretty good, unfortunately, and it did feel like something was missing without it. One Punch Man Season 3 is like waiting the time frame of 2 JoJo parts. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if One Punch Man will ever get a new season because of essentially what happened, right? It had a lot of hype going, but then the hype died down. So I don't know. Besides, they have so many terrible light novels to adapt. Am I right? Am I right, fellow gamers? God. I talked a little bit about an anime about the space guy. About the space villain in space with his sex android, right? And that actually got listed for like possible hottest trash of the season by Mother's Basement. And I have to agree, it is pretty hot garbage. I did love how true it was what the guy said in the video, because truly, this is the first isekai that starts with a guy being isekai'd because he was cucked to death. That is just the best way to explain the main character's backstory. His NTR story was just so sad he died. You can relate to the guy in the Mega Man comic, Birdie. Indeed. And like, I saw her an anime in disguise recently. A guy turns into like a Pokemon cat thing and then becomes part of an RPG waifu party who are all kinda useless but hot as fuck, so together level up or something. Ah, that's the one with like where the elf is like, I hope the cat grow tentacles and ravish me or something, right? Yeah, that was also part of Hottest Trash, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched that. I haven't found the courage. And I don't think it got brought here. Yeah, no, that is like very sussy fan service. I saw a few clips of it on Twitter. People going like, wait, what? It's like the fantasy isekai version of that other one anime that was there last season, where a guy dies, reincarnates as his hot school mate dog. And the girl heavily implies that she in each episode the anime just like tests how much they can imply bestiality without doing anything, without making it actually happen or something like that. And it's like one big pile of one person's really really disturbing fetish. My life as Inukai-san dog. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. Thank you, Camel God. I believe that is the one. Yes. I remember hearing about this Lord. Yeah, no. It is what I appreciate how experimental the anime industry still is, you know. Where they'll be like, they look at this thing and they're like, maybe there's an audience, let's give it a shot. And maybe there was an audience. Maybe there were people who were genuinely into it, and there were people who were like, yeah, this is pretty disturbing, but the girl is pretty hot, so I am just gonna pretend this isn't as weird as it is and move on. And watch it anyways. Because unfortunately, those people fall into the category of people who would watch. Another one that I haven't watched, I don't think you can pay me enough to watch that. I probably wouldn't be able to watch this and ever look my dog in the face again. The experimental is still bold, especially in the world that is more like, no, it's bad, all of it. So basically real life Shimoneta. I don't know what a Shimoneta is. I don't know what that is. Okay, this is funny. Crushmo does not have the dog anime on their website, but on their store, they sell DVD of it, so like they don't want to directly put it up. Paywalling the Dashin? I see. That's the thing. Does Crunchyroll have a stance on ever bringing Shimentai? I think they don't bring it because they want the platform to be all ages, because that increases the amount of people they can bring their services to, right? But at the same time, they do bring some questionables, some stuff that it's definitely not for all ages. There's another anime where the law is extremely strict to anything to do with relationships, so of course sex and porn too. Ah, that's the one with the lady who puts panties on her head and makes dirty jokes, right? Also, I would like... That is good. That is good. Actually, the failure that's one of the exceptions where someone's failure makes me happy. Yeah, I think I saw one episode of that, and I looked at it and was like, didn't think it was, didn't really catch my interest. I remember watching the first episode. I'm sorry, what was this about painting on their heads and little jokes? Ah, Red, not my panty. Give it back, please. Okay, so I'm getting this area correct. I am gonna have to cover it though, but it's fine as it is. Okay, we need to do the arms. I need to think about this position. Because I do want to make a... Let's be real. One of Hato's greatest qualities is when he acts all flustered. That and when he screams in horror. Those are like his two greatest contributions to the world outside of his great art, right? So I wanted to give a more embarrassed. In the Shimoneta anime, there's a terrorist that finds porn, then gives it out to the public. I wonder how the idea of this came up. Probably from talking with people who feel who the author felt were too conservative, right? It feels very teenagey sort of way. Oh, it's a single dot. Okay. There we go. And honestly, a few of these were actually written by teenagers. I don't know if you guys know this, right? But the original script of Sword Art Online was written when the author was actually 14. Hey there, Medina, how are you doing? We're making Hato today. I got an anonymous person commissioned me. They want to make a special surprise for Hato, so pretend you didn't hear it from me. Also, Kiba has really improved the drawing styles, huh? Thank you, Lunatic. I'm trying. I'm always trying to do something new. Because I want to always be improving. Because honestly, I think that's like the coolest part about art. Is that there is always room for improvement. There is always room for improvement. There is always something you can do. You can figure out new ways to draw things. Although I have heard recently that there's like some people are making like guides to how to spot if an artist has decided to embrace the AI overlords, right? How to spot scammers, essentially. And there are a few on the list that make a lot of sense, but there are some that feel a little bit unfortunate. And one of them is like the artist either has a drastic changing style, and like, I hope I do have a style that is developed enough that if you see it, you're like, oh, that's something that Kiba makes. Because I do a lot of different proportions. I vary my proportions a lot. But I do hope I've been developing a more a style that's more me. Right. AI should be using for brainstorming, not of people 100% against it, but it's the genie is out of the bottle now. Apparently, actually, AI in early development process was already a thing that was used by big studios for a while now. But like the main issue is that how marketing is just trying to push this to scam the crap out of people. Honestly, I don't like it in general. I think we can do just fine without it. AI should not be used at all, except very narrow use cases that do not need it learning in every regard. I don't. AI makes me sad. Honestly, it makes me sad because I don't know if this is true or not. Honestly, but apparently the first AI addicted. There have been reports of the first AI addicted people, and I think I know exactly which group would be vulnerable to AI addiction, right? And that is the overly anxious group of people. Yeah, no, the energy cost is just terrible. That is like, you know, as someone who I like, there are edge cases where it can be well used and whatnot, but like the energy cost is pretty. I like, as someone who has an environmental management background, I hear this and I'm like, ugh. You know, there's a lot of like weird stuff going on with AI, and like this is very much like the case of rich people wanted this to be a thing, so they are just ignoring the rules for the sake of it, I feel. I feel called out with the anxious part. I only ask AI questions because I think friends and family will get annoyed if I keep doing that. So, here's what I mean when I'm talking about anxious people getting addicted to the AI, right? So it kind of starts like this. The case that it feels like it was a very fringe case, but I am going to relate it anyways because it made sense to me, but I'm not. But like, refute if I'm wrong. I hope I am, honestly. But here's what I gathered. This was a person who basically left for AI to not only ask AI questions, but like determine stuff. Like, for instance, what should I eat today? Where's a good restaurant? And stuff like that, right? To figure out what to. So they started using AI for everything. They started using AI to figure out what they should eat that day, what movies they should watch, like everything, every possible decision that they could pass on to the AI to do it for them. They did. So my profile of a person where that could happen to the point where it actually results in dependency, like the person being lost if they didn't have an AI on hand in order to use it, right? Is someone who is very insecure about their own opinions and their own choices, someone who has been repeatedly hurt by life when making their own choices. which causes them to develop like a very pathological kind of anxiety, choice paralysis, right? So if they don't have to make the choice, they don't have to feel the pain of the consequences, in a sense, right? And the AI advertises itself as this handy buddy that's never gonna let you down, never gonna be wrong, you know? So yeah, I feel like that's the profile of the kind of person who could get like damaging addiction to technology and of that sort, you know? The scary thing about that is Apple and YouTube does that for some people already. I know. Like, I feel like nowadays, one thing that's very important to learn is to know how to tame your algorithms, right? I think there was a study that came out at this conclusion. More anxious, lonely people use AI more and have more likely an addictive... Yeah. Doesn't feel... Jokes and then I'm anxious and do not use AI. Ha, me too. But it feels predatory, right? It feels predatory. I mean, it is predatory because, yeah, you know, companies nowadays are completely predatory. It's a mess. It's a mess. You gotta learn how to tame algorithms on your own, otherwise they start feeding you stuff that actually makes you ill. But because of human brain nature, we tend to focus on the negative rather on the positive, because focusing on the negative allowed us to be more aware of things trying to eat us. So if you're not careful with what you're consuming, you may end up subscribing to like some very toxic channels that will do you more harm than good in the long run. Certified email is possible to implement it in a sensible way with regards to the law. So much tech use psychology predatory shit now. The anxious stuff applies to me. It's okay, Skay. Just follow me and I'll tell you what to be worried about and I'll do all the thinking for you. Ooh, no, I won't. I don't do that shit. I don't do that shit. Trying to make an honest living drawing pixel art that makes people just a little bit happy. But in many ways, I'm used to being told I'm wrong a lot, even when I know I'm not. So it's like, okay, then you have the final say and the consequences then. Yeah, like I said, that's the experience of a lot of people nowadays. This is something that's very common across the globe. People like, I don't know why, people expect perfection of others when then themselves are flawed, and like there is like a lot of hypocrisy in regards to that. And and no one knows why mental health is bad or why people are super anxious, right? It's like, it's us. It's us. I hate to be the guy who says it's society, but it is society to an extent. Because society is us. We are society. And we gotta stop being so mean to each other, man. Sometimes I forget that my dad is an AI bro. One time he messaged me about my avatar and animation stuff, and I got really excited explaining live to the rigging stuff. I don't remember exactly how it went. It's like I've been doing this for 3-ish years now, and I'm happy that I'm improving. And think he wanted to be funny and said, "I don't have 3 years. I'm trying to go in an afternoon with AI," and I got kind of sad. Oh, F lunatic. I don't think he even realizes how disrespectful that is to you too. He doesn't even realize what he's doing, right? Like, that's kind of the thing. The profile, most people, they don't really understand, right? A lot of people aren't like don't do shit because it's inherently bad. Because they know it's inherently bad. People don't do this. People don't act this way, right? They aren't like, I'm gonna kick a puppy today because kicking puppy is evil and I love being evil. And even though no one acts like this, for fuck's sake, when I was in Ragnarok Online, there were so many people who wanted to roleplay their characters like this. God freaking damn it. AI hit the gardening peeps too. There's AI generated cat flower pictures and the sells seeds of them. God knows the seeds are actually sent. But a lot of grandmas are falling. Oh no. Oh no. It's crazy how most of the people in my experience have great difficulty seeing that AI art is AI. I mean, first of all, most of them don't even know they should be looking for something. Like, I think the other day, my mother got scared because she saw like some really weirdly inflammatory charge on Facebook, and I got curious and asked her what it was like, and she didn't show me. She described it to me, and basically what she described sounded like it was like some. It wasn't even like actually something. It was like AI generated, and I was like, ah, yeah, frickers. Nah, this is too much. I love this keeps coming back to what I said. Problem is that it's now technology literacy. Might as well be Harry Potter and the means small group that do get it. Have a lot of power over people that don't. Yep. to do the arm like this, or do I think I want to draw it actually. Yeah. The interesting part is that most of the malicious people are actually very unhappy with themselves. The interesting part is they're doing all this. They are sacrificing so many people, and not even then are really reaping benefit that they think they want to have. Some of them learned about tech in the first place because society makes them feel like outcasts and pissed. They're obsessed over that instead. Like, no joke. Actually saw this the other day. Apparently, Elon Musk contemplates isekaiing himself a lot. Like, a lot. Dude is like practically running a country, and he hates himself. The thing is, they are outcasts because they are bad evil people. He has no true friends beside AI and ketamine. It is crazy. It really isn't. It really isn't. There are so many factors. There's like not fulfilling certain expectations that the peers and families have made them believe they had to. Then there's like the whole thing with trying to chase highs. There's just so much. Yeah, I think it's partially because he has self-destructive tendencies. He absolutely has self-destructive tendencies. When a person is in a place where all their needs are met, right? But they themselves feel like something, they can't feel contempt. Then they start to look for trouble. My mom used to say, if you lack issues in your life, don't worry, you will make some up. You will never be without issues in your life, because if you're without issues, you'll just make something up. I would give examples, but that will sound like trauma dumping. The short version is some are convinced that they have a shit life syndrome, so fantasy and technology in their own escape, which don't involve out or in themselves. But unfortunately, one side effect of being in a shitty place is that sometimes you'll feel that it's unfair that other people are not in the same shitty place as you, so you will try to put them in the shitty place. Hey Zor, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Hello, hello. Hope you're doing good. Which is why taking care of people's mental health is a net benefit for society. In trying to find a society where people can actually be happy, right? Just moves things along. Love yourself and each other, exactly. I've been mostly content with my life, but even still, issues appear, and these issues are mostly self-made. They're there, lunatic, they're there. Be more respectful and generous and make love, not war. Also, Zor, thank you for the 13 months. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the support. I really, really appreciate it. Sometimes all it takes to be evil is being selfish because whatever else happens to them in the past and how they interpreted it, to quote Homer, to be hated, you don't have to do squat. Homer Simpson, that is. Hey! During the moments of wisdom, Homer Simpson was very philosophical. At least with me, my issues are quite small apart from reckless spending habits, which I've been getting better, I swear. That's good, lunatic. True escape, but the intentions do not matter, Emil. Just be kind. Most people can do it. The stampede. Also, there is one thing that I will appreciate that we do have to think about that's kind of interesting, right? Is that sometimes, right, people have more power than they are ready for, right? So things that would be all right for an average Joe to do or think, right, end up becoming acts of extreme harm to everyone around the person because they might hold too much influence, right, in one way or another. And there are always like unforeseen consequences of that kind of shit. I need more power since I'm so smart, Mamaha. Only some specific subjects though. All I can say is that is good. That is good. Being good at different things is good. You don't have to be good at everything. And knowing your strengths is useful. Yes. Now I just gotta do something about this relationship loneliness that's just kind of suddenly appeared like a couple months ago to a yearish ago. That makes sense, Neva. Please tell me when you find solution. So much social things, the kind of see it transactional, but then again, that's a personal interpretation thing influenced by the past. I don't think it's a coincidence that some of the most messed up people are rich and famous. They're playing like some kind of hardcore game of life. Yeah. You get conditioned to chasing certain things because if you don't have them, you are not... You have no worth as a human being, right? That is usually the most dangerous kind of thinking. Like, and it's like, God damn it. Marketing will kill us all. there's like luxurious lifestyles that people are trying to sell to other people, and toxic attitudes that will get you to those luxurious lifestyles, and it's a mess. 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 Anyways, BRB from vibrating from coffee. I really should not be drinking it this time. All right, Lunatic, be careful. Yeah, but next time refills, imagine you change your schedule 20 times throughout the day. That's the shock. Hey. We forgot a few things, and I didn't notice that Momochi used the old time instead of the new one. It was a fair mistake. It was a sad day when I realized that if you want a super impressive career, sooner or later you have to work with a psycho, and God help if they're your boss. Yeah, especially because it seems like the way business are run, it's almost like they select for this kind of person. Like, it's funny, when I was younger, I had this very weird realization about cheating in tests, right? I used to play a lot with myself in the sense that I would like come up with scenarios and try to see how they would play out. So basically, this thought exercise was very simple. Let's say you have a class, right? Now, the teacher in this class decides that after the class learning certain things, they are ready for an exam that is going to be hard, right? Welcome back, Lunatic. But then he's like, okay, I'm gonna make this exam, maybe project or something, as like a challenge, right? And I'm gonna make it extra hard. And I'll be able to use this result to adjust what the class isn't learning properly or something like that. Let's say it's something along those lines. So he makes it a purposefully hard test. And he expects people to not get very good grades based on what he is trying to achieve with the exercise, right? Now, if everyone cheats, then everyone will get a good score, right? And then if everyone gets a good score, then that means to the teacher that the exercise wasn't hard enough. Then that means he needs to increase the difficulty. So the next time that comes around that he needs to do a difficult test, the test will be more difficult, because if the teacher did not account for like cheating, right, then that means he can demand more of the students. So there is this arm race between the people cheating and the teacher thinking he can demand more and more, right? Up until it comes to a point where the only way that you can succeed in that teacher's class is by cheating. So that's what that's kind of how I figured out that I shouldn't cheat in school or help people cheat with tests in school, because it could throw off the whole system out of balance, right? But like, that's not a thought that's very common to people. That's mature as fuck. Ah, thank you. Yeah, when I was young, people used to tell me that I like acted a lot more mature than my age. Now that I'm old, people don't say anything. uh, that's a good way of looking at it, Kiba. I never actually thought about it like that before. Yeah, the concept of that train of thought is how can you figure out if a behavior that you have is harmful to society? And the best way to think about it is to think about it on a scale where people are like, oh cool, he's doing that, let me do that too. If people started copying your behavior and everyone started acting the same way, what would be the consequences, right? Usually, you can figure out if a behavior is kinda shitty or not based almost entirely on the, well, if everyone did what I was doing, then shit wouldn't work. You know? Okay, what am I doing that if people copy, then shit wouldn't work? It's kind of like if you stop to think about it, right? Take scammers, for instance. Scammers are just out there trying to get people to believe in things that aren't true, right? And get money from them in that way. If everyone is lying all the time, then no one can talk to each other anymore. No one can believe in anything anymore. Then there's just no way to do anything if people can't believe in each other anymore. So if you have to be the special chosen one for your behavior to not cause too much harm, then that probably means your behavior is causing a lot of harm. This is like why hypocrisy is wrong. How to explain how hypocrisy is wrong, right? Everyone's a little bit of a hypocrite from time to time, right? True, sounds weird, but true. Lots of people don't consider society part anymore until it goes back to helping them again. They're not all bad people, it's just some thinker literally never thought this. We are in a very individualist stage in our culture, right? And like, on the bright side, it's kind of a pendulum, right? There is one thing that I learned from literature class in high school that the teacher taught us a lot, is that humanity tends to like repeat itself a lot. So people will get enamored with mysticism, then at one point they'll be like, actually mysticism's all a bunch of bullshit, we need to focus on what's real, what's tangible. And then they're gonna be like super gonna like start doing like some really depressing art and stuff and being like, this is reality, this is raw. And then people will be like, yeah, I kind of don't want too much of that anymore. And then they're gonna go back to like a more mystical, holistical approach. And I think it kind of works like that with individualism and societarian. I don't know how to say the word, but you get the opposite essentially. Very true. If everyone's a carnival god, that would never work. There can only be one. Worshipping intensifies. Are Q tests even legit? Can't the answer be all over the place? IQ tests only measure certain kinds of intelligence. Other exist, but school mostly don't measure them. Yeah, that is the truth. That is the truth. IQ tests don't measure emotional intelligence. That even has its own signature nomenclature. It's called EQ, for instance. And you know, int is a stat, but wisdom is just as valid of a stat in D&D. Which is weird, because even D&D knows this. If you're a D&D nerd, you should know that intelligence needs wisdom. The high intelligence character doesn't hold all the answer and pass all the checks, you know. Only based on how good you can do one test. And your IQ can change from time to time depending on what your mood is when you're taking the test too. So it's like, yeah, wouldn't put too much high stake on that, you know? I mean, full luck also works. Man, I've been on this arm for a while now. It's probably because I'm not focusing too much on it. Okay, actually, I think for this pose in particular, full luck didn't work. I don't think I'd be alive now. Encounters with near-death encounters, yeah. I almost drowned once when I was little. Let me just, because I need to vindicate myself a little bit. I literally have an autism and I don't care who else knows it, but I am telling you so intelligent and value as fuck right now because you're mostly losing theirs. Now because they judge many things and emotion, my personal past experience more than ever now instead of thinking. How did you almost drown? Ocean! I was on the beach, right? And because I was walking, I was on like a shallow part, right? But here in Brazil, this can happen a lot. I don't know how it is. It probably happens in others too. But basically, the currents will shift the sand from under the water, right? And sometimes create sinkholes. So while I was walking, I fell on one of said sinkholes. And according to my mom, I was just walking and I disappeared. I was walking out. The water was like in my belly, right? And then I just vanished. There was a hole. There was a hole. There was a hole in the water. But like my feet didn't get stuck. So apparently when I reached the bottom of the hole, I did like a frog leap up and got out of that. So I managed to jump up, and my mom said she caught me when I jumped it up, and took me away from there because the hole was there. Yeah, so that's how I almost drowned. That's the story of how I almost drowned, essentially. Thank God you're fine. I know, right? Luck is good. Luck is part of skill. Luck is part of skill. My dad almost got me killed by a motor blade. Oh no. Oh dear. Top things Camel God has in common with manatees. Or manatees. I like manatees. They're so cute. All they do is float around the rivers eating plants. They are so adorable. They're just vibing and chilling. The timeline would be different. It's good that you're around. Indeed. Manatees are capybaras, but fish, that is true. That is true. Okay, so we got the arms down. Good, 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 good. Wait, so what are those sinkholes called in Brazil? They don't have a specific name. They're just called holes. Sometimes you need luck to develop skill. They probably have a more specific name, but it's like it's probably a more like regional word. So it's something that someone who lives around in beach areas would know, but I wouldn't, right? So I don't know the lingo, essentially. But yeah, they are absolutely a thing. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, I'm gonna take this one and leave it saved like this for no evil ideas. Skill makes me more willing to throw the luck dice. Okay. So let's be honest. Let's be very, very honest here. Oh, and I made an oopsie when it comes to the... Hold up. What do I mean when I say that luck helps you develop skill? And I mean it help because there are people who have developed very impressive skill sets in their lives without having a whole lot of luck or any at all. But let's be real. Basically, the most RNG thing there is in this world is where you're born, right? It's where you're born, it's how wealthy your family is, it's what are the resources that you have available near you, right? So that's what I mean when luck helps you develop skills. Because like, let's be real here. There is a man in Japan who is the last retainer of the Iga Ninja training techniques. The last retainer, right? This guy was a kid who was coming back from school, and by complete random chance, he was called out by a stranger who he thought was going to mug him. But the stranger was like, "Kid, I want to pass down something really neat. Do you want to learn it?" And the kid was kind of scared to say no. So he was like, "Okay, mister, sure." That man that he talked to that day was the last descendant of the Iga clan. He worked for the government during the Second World War. And he wanted to pass this on. This is actually real, by the way. This is actually real. The guy has like a ninja cafe. He teaches the skills to tourists, and I so wanna go there one day. I really wanna go there one day. Completely random. He is like the last modern ninja, and he is the last modern ninja completely by random chance. Yeah. You go there. It's like a ninja dojo that's open to tourists. And he like gives you some basic light training on like throwing knives and different camouflage. Can you spell it in the chat? Yeah, is he lying? Possibly. But apparently he teaches people, he knows how to throw kunais and shurikens really, really well, so it gives some credence to him. Let me see if I can find the video. Just a second. This Ninja Japan. Okay, so
he is Japan's last off.
This is the guy. I recognize him. Hold up. There you go, guys. Have fun. This is the YouTube short. Reminds me of how there's hardly any blacksmith that make legit katanas anymore. Exactly. This is the guy. I like ninja, so I love finding stuff like this. I came across it completely by chance also. He was trained in all of them when he was young. By the crazy man he found on the street. By chance. And think about it, now it's his livelihood. His livelihood is to pass on this knowledge that he learned. And he thought the guy was like a thief or something. This is literally a skill you could not develop without luck. Thief no Jutsu. Well, now I'm gonna go on a rabbit hole on this guy. Good luck, Camel God. Good luck. It's just neat, isn't it? It's just neat. So yeah, you can, if you're lucky, so that's what I meant when luck is part of skill. Because like, sometimes you can just have all the resources to develop a skill literally fall on your lap, right? Other times, you're gonna have a tougher time. You're gonna have to work hard for it. And some people find a way to learn stuff when everything is against them in the world. These are stories like, I don't know, Stevie Wonder, you know, the blind jazz musician. That's like, yeah, that's not easy to. That's like already a high modifier to difficulty, right? Family was poor, kid was blind. Somehow manages to become one of the top musicians of all time. I learned a video that from a friend because the teacher was not only useless, but she tried to flirt with me. Oh no. Man, when you're young and you're in school, sometimes the most fucked up shit just flies over your head entirely. Like you have no idea that was fucked up. Or maybe I was really innocent. I remember I had a teacher who had this weird habit of like massaging all the boys in the shoulder. Every boy she could put her hands on in the shoulder. Yeah, she just did that a lot. No one thought anything about it. This was a Catholic school, by the way. Yeah, I can definitely think some fucked up things that happened probably went over my head. Ever since South Park? Yes. More than thankful for my Norman. Most of my teachers were okay, to be fair. Just the art teacher was a bit creepy. Although there was this one teacher who was like praising how he thought one of his friends was super smart for his 100% fall-proof scheme on how to always have a girl to date. And many years later, I discovered that the so-called scheme is called grooming. Checks out if it's Catholic. The secret is what's crime all along. Yeah, the main thing about grooming is that there are still a lot of people who haven't caught on to what it is, right? I feel that's particularly true in social manga. I laugh not to cry. God, I still remember. This is burned into my brain. Because, like, especially when I was younger, I actually liked shoujo a lot. Sakura Card Captor, mwah, best show ever. But the Clamp Girls sometimes would probably base it on their own life experience, honestly. Idolize some things that I didn't quite understand it wasn't alright. There was this one character in Sakura Card Captor who was one of Sakura's classmates, right? And it is implied that she has an older boyfriend. It's very implied she has an older boyfriend. It's a secret relationship, right? It, your red flag signals are probably like flaring up right now, right? Uh, and she was even regarded as more mature because of this. So it was almost like a the fact that she had this relation was almost a status symbol, right? And the person she was dating was the class teacher, who was like 30 something. And the story tells why he fell in love with a student that young and tries to frame it as not creepy and fails so horribly to do so. For you see, ladies and gentlemen, for you see, the teacher was a widower, right? His wife died in a tragic car accident, probably to become a villainess in an automobile novel, right? And he was left with trauma because not only his wife died, but his little daughter died as well. His little daughter, who looks just exactly the girl he gave a promise ring to. So, because the little... Like... Yes. Yes, yes. The justification makes it worse. Somehow the justification makes it worse. Like, it is very hidden. It's a very hidden thing. You kind of have to look for it. It's very implied, but the scenes are there. They're in the manga. I think they're excluded from the anime because the someone was like, "Hey, what the fuck is this shit?" And the author was like, "No, no, no, it's cute, I swear. It's cute, I swear." So yeah, that is an unfortunate part of the show. That is an unfortunate part of the show. Otherwise, amazing show. That is a part of the manga, at least. I think they did the good thing in the anime and removed it. Yeah, no, that is exactly how that is how they frame it. That is how they frame it. It is why. And like at the time, right? Grooming was almost seen like a virtue. It's like, yes, he knows it's not right to be attracted by someone so young. That is why he will wait. Oh my god, best person on the planet. Clap, clap. Here's your shitty person trophy. Enjoy. Enjoy. It is. It is gross. It is gross. It is very gross. But like, here's the thing, Medina. Here's the thing. Now, when you're young, it is very common for you to have a crush on someone older, right? That's absolutely a thing that is common. That is also a thing that predators will use in their favor, right? So, before judging the author too much for it, because I feel like this is such a common trope in shoujo, this is either a fantasy that they had when they were younger, where their older teacher would look at them and find a reason to think that they're special. And like, oh my god, I'm in a glamorous other person relationship. Oh, this is so... Yes, but the adult in the room should reject little kids. Exactly, exactly, exactly. But the fantasy is still there, right? So that's usually what they're channeling when they do this sort of shit. And they like, and trying to create a way where it's not creepy, they end up stumbling into the Groomer's Manual 101. Also, I'll be real though, I used to like shoujo a lot. There were a lot of good shoujo mangas. But like, then I read Fruit Basket, and I think it was Karekano. And those like emotionally burned me out for good. Those like really, really emotionally burned me out. The male lead became so creepy out of the blue in Karekano. Karekano was so cute. And then the second phase starts and it becomes so... what the fuck? You never heard of Fruit Basket, Lunatic? That's... yeah, Lunatic is a young being. Lunatic is a young being. There's been a remake recently, and even, you know what? Think Something Witty Entertainment, they made a parody. They made a parody. You know, the same guys who did Sword Art Online Abridged, they made Fruit Baskets Abridged too. Thank you, Red Eye! Exactly what I was going to say. I haven't watched it yet. I'm saving it for a rainy day. I will give you the summary because the plot is rather absurd, and I hate it because I really like the original premise, because the original premise is just absurd, but then it just turns into drama. It just turns into gut-wrenching drama. So the main story follows a very, very nice girl who, in retrospect, the fact that she's living under a bridge should have clued me in that there was going to be drama in this, right? But yeah, the main heroine goes to school like everything is normal, but her family died, and she lives under a bridge. She lives in like a tent. She lives in like a tent. She has like a picture of her dead mom, which she says hi to every day in the most Genki anime girl attitude ever, right? You know, I'm gonna make it a hoodie, but I'm gonna make the hoodie open. Does she come out and stop someone from passing? And then they give them a riddle? No, she does not. She does not, oh god. This is why anime girls are scary. So, and there's a boy who is like the hottest boy in school, and she has like that really
Sokiba, you
cliche.
meant to still be NG?
I am not. Sorry. I just got a bit carried. It doesn't make me that angry anymore. But like, see, how does this work when it's open? Okay, I'm gonna have to put the ponytail away. Try and figure out this. But yeah. Basically, the girl, very, very nice girl. She's like the perfect victim, if you wanna put it that way. Like, she is nice. I hope nothing bad happens to her. Oh, her family is dead. Okay, now. So much for that. So much for nothing bad happening to her, but fine. Then she has a chance meeting with the hottest boy in school, and she accidentally touches him. And then something literally magical happens. It turns into a cat. Kitties, I'll be off now. Thanks for the love stream. Alright, Medina, have a good one. No, he turns into a rat. It turns into a rat. He transmogrifies into a mice. And I don't remember, I think he can still talk. So basically what happens is that he is part of a very special family that has been cursed by the zodiac signs. So 12 people of the family will be born under a Chinese zodiac sign, right? And if they are hugged by someone of the opposite gender, they will turn into the animal of their zodiac sign. Transform it into vermin. Have you seen the new Yu-Gi-Oh show on YouTube? No, I have not, Camogod, I have not. So basically, the way the anime starts, the Toru is the name of the girl. She is going through some tough times, but she has friends. The hottest boy, she now knows the secret of the hottest boy, becomes their confidant, and as a very nice person, she is trying to help them work out their own family issues with the curse and things like that. And she soon learns that there are more in the family. And there is even one who has the left out sign, the sign of the cat. Because in the legend of the zodiac signs, the cat was invited to the festivities, but he gets tricked by the rat and gets left out of the party. So because of that, everyone treats the kid who is born under the cat symbol like he's a pariah. Just because. Even though he is in the same situation as them, turning into animals when he gets hugged. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And everything is going well. It's kind of like this cute thing. The cat boy and the rat boy, they are rivals. The rat boy wants to prove that he's good enough to be part of the main family, and the rat boy is like actually not interested in being part of the family, so they have arguments because of that and stuff like this, right? And she's like caught in the middle, and it's like ha ha ha, cute, funny, ha 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 ha. And then they introduce a character who is like the big secret, which is the person who was born under the sign of the god. The god who created the party, who created the party that the myth of the zodiac sign is based on. And she is an abusive a-hole. Like they use mystical powers to basically do like why abuse victim won't leave X or something like that as a metaphor. And then it just started getting heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And I was like, I can't anymore. And the manga would drag it on for so long, too. So like by the time the story ended, I didn't even like get any catharsis out of how long it dragged. I really didn't get any catharsis. Like, thank God everything is good now. I really care about these characters. I could remember half their names. There were 12 of them. There were 12. So that made me like... So those experiences made me like shoujo-less because I started noticing that... some sort of like excessive drama or the boys being kind of fucked in the head was very normalized, right? So I kind of gave up a bit on the show. That sounds like me with Elfin Light. Have you ever read Amanda? Thank God it was summary the point. Oh, Elfin Light is like... Elfin Light is kind of just sadistic. The funny thing about Elfen Lied though is that Elfen Lied was like so gory and had like such dark themes that as a teen it was you could absolutely fall into the trap of like thinking that the anime was like really mature and grown up, right? And try to like it wholly based on that. Because especially if you were growing up in the 2000s when it comes to being an anime fan, it felt like you had to prove something to people, like, these cartoons are not for children, good sir. These can be read by teenagers and adults even. The intro to this anime is beautiful, but also a perfect example of this was not what I signed up for. Indeed. Indeed. That is very true. That is very true. All I remember from Elfin Light was Unpanic, that basically I designed you both to now breed. Yeah, no, that was a plot, that was a plot. God, I remember like the main girl. Basically what was happening, it was like ooh, this is the new stage of human evolution. So they have the new stage of human evolution have psychic hands that they can, invisible psychic hands that it can project and cut people in half. And they also spread the virus, which does something. I don't remember what the virus subplot was, but the psychic hands had a virus in them. Or something. I don't actually remember what that was for. But anyways, there was a virus thing, right? And the girl has horns that look like cat ears. That's fucking animal as fuck, gotta say. And they were trying to weaponize them, the species. I think they were like mutants, and the government wanted to weaponize them. So they were trying to get them to do the fucky-wucky, the males and the females. But the female were like pretty cat girl anime women. And the guys like turned it into like bald semi-ugly bastards. So all they were really good for was being kicked in the groin, while they yelled, "You have to breed with me!" And the girl's like, "Nah," kick him in the groin. The mark of the virus made people tend to various levels of insane and cat horniers, though the insanity might have come from the fact that they were, I don't know, trying to make them human weapons. It was... like, anime had a phase where coherency could not be taken for granted at all. You sometimes would get an anime and it was an absolute masterpiece, or it was like the ravings of a mad person. I say that anime can still be very experimental, but compared to that time, it's much safer now. Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of those. The more you put some of the main plot hooks on the paper, the more you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Then we had Cat Planet Cuties, Girl Bravos, and Dear S. Man, Girls Bravo is one that everyone says is great. I haven't actually watched that. When it came to anime at that time, I was very basic. I'd go for like Trigun and the first version of... It was cute, nice. What was it? I saw DN Angel. DN Angel was kind of weird though. DN Angel was kind of weird. We got high cultured with Mackenzie. Ooh. NGN never made sense to me until I learned about the director and saw the new Sato movies. Yeah, the director wasn't too happy with how he ended the series either, so he made a bunch of movies to try to make the actual ending of Evangelion. It was actually a meme at one point, like the how... Okay, so when is this show actually ending? And it's like, how does this show end? It's just like, oh, it's simple. It's simple. First, you gotta watch the series, but then you gotta disregard that ending. Then you gotta look for this movie, then you gotta take part of what this movie says and part of what this other movie says, and then you get to the end. It was something like that. Is it easier to follow than of the Fate Stay timeline? I don't know. But the Fate timeline, the Fate Stay series started at this point in anime, so now you know why it is the way it is. That's part of the insanity. Every anime, manga, and piece of energy merges multiverse groundhog dating. But guys, be honest here. Have you guys ever watched Serial Experiment Lane or Boogie Bop Phantom? Because those shows are the ones that are gonna give you headaches. Trying to figure out what happens. Those are the reals what the fuck ever happened. The Fate timeline is easy. Visual novel and everything else is itchy filler. And the visual novel has tags in it. Problem solved. Wasn't there one where there were lesbian magical girls? I think there was a Fate Stay that was basically lesbian magical girls. Guys, who here heard of Serial Experiment Lane? Doesn't matter, had threesome with Saber and Wind. Fair. A most honorable goal. Heard of it, but not seen it. So, how do I put it? Okay. Guys, pin that for a sec. I need to BRB, my doggo wants out, and I'm gonna take the advantage to do a little short bathroom break. I'll be right back, okay? BRB, don't go anywhere. Bye-bye, lunatic. You can go, lunatic. Okay. So there's still a bit more of commercial. Yeah, you can. I mean, anyone can. It's just a way of saying it, you know? It's just a way of saying it. Mm. Momochi is my angel. Momochi is my angel. She had to leave the house. Just being cheeky. Alright, alright, alright. And she didn't tell me anything, but she left a banana and a protein shake for me. Do you guys like protein with your bananas? There we go, we can return. Hello. Dude. Like, Serial Experiment Lane was a very weird show. But the author actually made a weirder show previously. Now we're taking a little break. I'm eating something. A weirder show called Boogie Bop Phantom. Now, I got banana. I got, I think it's like almond milk or something. It's supposed to be wheat milk. I think it's wheat milk. Yeah, wheat milk. And... Wait, same person made that? I wanted to watch both, actually. It's very interesting, but you gotta have a lot of patience. Wheat milk with protein thingies. It is, it is. I got... I went to like a nutritionist, right? And she passed me a diet that's meant to help me regenerate my muscle tissues better. So I've been following it. Has it been working effectively? I think so. I do feel like I have a bit more energy thanks to the after I started the diet. But it's not like I'm like, oh, gains gene bro or anything like that, because quite frankly, one, I don't have the genetic makeup for that. I'm on the tall and sleek spectrum, so I actually don't develop a lot of muscles in my arms and chest area. It's just not a thing. My legs are pretty strong too, though. But still, like, there's some muscles, like at the core, the abdomen and stuff like that, that apparently were a bit underdeveloped before I started the diet, so it's mostly for that. Like a doctor nutritionist or one of those service ones. The muscles are all steroid anyways, extreme gains, then paying the price for it later. True, true, true. Staying fit is great, live longer. Yeah. I go to the gym to... I started going to the gym because the doctor said I should, to avoid having back pains from working on the PC a lot. So basically going to the gym makes up for the time I have to stay sitting down. Yeah, I don't know how steroids affect you exactly, especially nowadays that they're probably like new fancier steroids, right? But I know it's not worth it. And honestly, can I be very real with you guys? Hmm. Okay, we are done with the shake. The main issue... Wait, what were we talking about? Oh my god. My mind wiped clean, sorry. Wait, we were talking about steroids. What was I going to say? Oh god. Shake was too good. It was very good. The mind wiping banana. That sounds like the name of a hentai cam. Oh god, let's not. Just kidding, just kidding. Oh yeah, what I was going to say. Honestly, I have no interest in becoming buff. Because quite frankly, I am married to a girl who absolutely hates muscular people, muscular men. I have like zero interest in that. I have like zero interest in that. Look it up. Steroids cause lifelong health problems such as heart stuff, liver stuff, and kidney stuff. Hey Kai, welcome to the stream. So don't do steroids is the answer. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's kind of sad too, cause like I think I remember I was at the gym. And I did overhear some people talking about taking steroids and fighting suppliers for this stuff, and I'm like, ugh. I see you're drawing Hoto. You see correctly. I take extremely buff stuff, so under Hollywood safe horny crap. I am curious by what safe horny means. Hold up, what safe horny means? Oh, you don't know that phrase, my bad. I guess I don't. I am gonna assume it has something to do with like selling an image that would fall under the attractive spectrum for women. Or for men, depending on the situation. It's when media is very Puritan about some stuff, but very okay with others. Ah, okay. So it's a little bit of this. This is okay for you to be horny and attracted by. Only this. Like how Street Fighter turned down all the girls, but you see Juri's feet everywhere. Okay, okay. Wait, are feet safe horny? Really? Which policy seems to disagree? Alright, it's like weird double standards, essentially. So weird double standards. Okay, gotcha. Well, thank you, Saribot. I don't know how to give Saribot a reward. You think it's like this? Damn. So much is not here today. Ah, thank you, Kamogod. You know, the same old. Best viewers on X place that's totally not gonna hack you full of viruses, and even if they didn't, you'd still feel empty inside because you're paying for a service that basically is not really your merit and stuff like that. I look at a dated app and I swear it says pet peeve is someone being overly emotional. I swear, just describe 9. Oh dear. Okay, I think everyone is pretty overly emotional nowadays. Emotional regulation has not been the strength of the 21st century. Anyways. So. Do you meditate at all, Kiba? No. No, I don't. You mean like the going on, finding time of the day, stuff like that? Nah. You better beast. I am a bit curious of what it would be like to meditate, but like, I don't know. Also took me a second to realize what I said after I said mind erasing button. Behold the mighty erasing banana. I know meditation works differently for everyone, that I know of. I watched a few, like, Dr. K's videos, stuff like that, so I have an idea of how there are, like, different types of meditation. And I don't know if this counts or whatever, right? I do like try to, whenever I am like at the gym, I do try to like do the thing where you just like silence every thought and just focus on your body. So I guess that's some sort of meditation, but it's not like I'm doing it like for more than 10 10 minutes. Because that's the time I take on the treadmill. It takes for me to stop doing the treadmill. The main thing I heard about meditation is phone addicts would hate it because you are alone with your thoughts. That's kind of the point. That's kind of why they're phone addicts, though, from my understanding. You want to drown out your thoughts with doing stuff. I don't think I need to draw the full sleeve, honestly. Where is it? There we go. Wait. Oh god, I drew it in the worst possible layer. Hold up. Shut the mate. There we go. People I feel tend to forget how important it is just being outside for a few seconds, even if your mental health. Sometimes just need to go outside and look at the sky or something. It's so important. Ato is looking good. Kiba, thank you, Camel God. Appreciate it. Okay, we're getting there. We just need to draw the stockings. And we are pretty good, I believe. So stockings should be fairly easy. Honestly, I have a more without details, so I'm gonna merge a few layers later, because I don't need all these. Thank you again for the commission yesterday, by the way. No problem, SK, no problem. Oh, and by the way, I did that post that I made about me drawing a lot of booba. I did mostly in a joking manner, because honestly, my eye for measuring was starting to get a bit affected by too many big booba commissions in a row. I like to call that the Queen's Blade effect, by the way. I have a name for it. By the way, I have a name for it. It's the Queen's Blade effect. Because every single lady in Queen's Blade practically has ginormous booba. Except for the ones that are meant to appease the audience that does not like giant boob at all. A lot of my friends would call that the VR chat effect. That too. There are a lot of VTubers that have also ridiculously huge racks. And then when a VTuber that has well-proportionate large racks enter the room, people start saying that they have tiny boobies in comparison. In that case, it's called booby brain rot, though. Has a less nicer name to it. What do you make of ones that take the entire screen? Depends. I think that because there is the fetish, right? Where it's like the boob is growing to ridiculous amounts. So those I think are in that category, which it's its own thing. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Personally, not necessarily my thing. Not something I'd seek out to anyways. Though I could say that of most fetishes, I don't like seek out any particular fetish too much. But also not something that, depending on the size, right? There is a point where it would be let's just say let's put it as hard to relate. There is a point where it's hard to relate. Like after like a small amount, it can be like kind of cute and fun and stuff like that. But there is like a borderline essentially. I will never get those people who are like universe size now. Fantastic if they don't die from oxygen. They feel only space inspect. I feel like that's like escalation. I feel like most of the people who do that, they like didn't start out like that. It's just like got there somehow along the way. I really appreciate your stream, Skib, and all the community. I can talk to the others and be social. Ah, thank you, Camel God. And honestly, if you like what you like, more power to you. Whatever makes you happy. The problem is some people... I heard that there are people who like some fetishes but don't really like it, don't like that they like them, so that kind of starts to bring problems to their mental health and their personal lives, right? Which is again why I believe it is important to have how do you say, a more sex positive position, I guess. What makes me happy is dogs and food, but not dogs that one anime away. Good. Peer pressure thing. I mean, technically there's always been a peer pressure thing, but I'm not entirely sure. What kind of peer pressure thing you're talking about, Skate? What is the peer pressure? Very passionate for foods, ingredients, learning new cuisines. I learn a lot about Brazilian foods thanks to you. Ah, that's good. That's good. I am glad. I am glad. Is it peer pressure for liking specific stuff? Is it like the Goon Society? You're not liking feet enough. Like feet harder. That's probably not it, right? That is probably not it. I'm probably misunderstanding that. Always loved history. History is fun. History is fun. You don't have a culture. You don't really understand a culture until you taste their food. Peer pressure for your likes. Yeah, most folks have online presence now, so it's sometimes to build a case of this person is you. Ah, okay, okay, okay. Interesting. Maybe my mental health is good because I'm a terrible influencer. uh, I feel like I'm so over that sort of stuff. The most stupid thing I ever saw when a PewDiePie got drama for who he followed on Twitter. So he unfollowed everyone, probably made an out. Ah, I see, I see, I see. Yeah, PewDiePie actually reminds me of the example of like when you get to a certain level where like things that seemingly are harmless have weird consequences for people. Here's a history food fun fact. In the 1700s, pineapples were super rare and they were just expensive with a appointed royalty would random just to showcase a party. Wow, luckily pineapples are not expensive now. Very, very. Because pineapples are tasty. Well, I don't know what this detail is though, so I'm just gonna leave it out. I think it's for a longer ponytail, but we're doing short ponytail here, so it's fine. Okay, I should probably save, right? Been working on this for 2 hours and 20 minutes now, should probably save. Hmm. Saving on never stop to think is a good habit, yes. But just imagine the royal baby. Did you hear Namie had a pineapple on display? You know, that is pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Oh my god. A pineapple, you say? They must be loaded. And at one point, lobsters were not fancy at all. They were considered sea cockroaches and only peasants ate them. This, I think that just shows how arbitrary the value of everything is, you know? Okay, so we got the base sprite done. Yay! Now I'm thinking about how I want to animate it. They really marketed it, and they did. There was a shift. There was a shift somewhere along the line, and lobsters became overhyped. Lobsters became overhyped. I think that's the best definition of it, though. I think that's like the best definition. Overhyped, I think it's fair. It's a fair definition. Not that they're not good, but they are probably overhyped if you stop to think about it. Okay. So what I'm thinking is we're gonna make like an idle pose. We're gonna make Hato sway a little bit from side to side. Because I think this posture is pretty good for like a sway. So we're gonna do like some slight hip action here. I'm gonna be honest, I had lobster and I think it's alright, I guess, which 100% agree with you on it being overhyped. Yeah, I had lobster a while back. I don't it was like a important date or something, and I think we were with Momochi's sister, right? So we decided to split the bill. We went to a restaurant that had like fishy seafood in it, and lobsters were there. And Momochi was like really excited because she never had. I don't think up to that point. Sorry. Yeah, got a little frog on my throat. Anyways, we didn't had the opportunity to eat lobster together. And when I tasted it, it was like the flavor was good. Don't mind me, the flavor was very tasty, but at the same time, how do I put it? Shrimp tastes better. In my humble opinion, shrimp tastes way better than lobster. Lobsters feels like a very grown shrimp, and the shrimp has the flavor more focused, you know? Because, like, I think it was like a seafood plate that we ate. And straight up, the shrimp tasted so much better than the lobster. It was like the big shrimp. Of course, it was the big shrimp shoe. The big shrimps are great. So it had been a long time since I ate lobster, and I remembered what it was like, and I was like, yeah, no, turns out shrimp was better. Can get a lot more meals with shrimp with the price of a lobster. That is true. But like, the way I rationalize spending money with food, right, is that it's mostly for the experience, right? You do it mostly for the experience. So it's like, yeah, you're eating the... It's a pricey meal, but like, it's a nice restaurant, and it's like a nice restaurant, and there's like good ambience and stuff like that. So you're paying like for an experience. It's something that you're not gonna do every day. Thank God. So it's absolutely fine, and it's also absolutely fine to like not get hyper efficiency in money if you set that money aside for that thing specifically, right? It's also like, how do I put it? I believe a lot in moderation of things, right? I think it's very much a personal belief that if you do certain things too much, you kind of ruin them, if that makes any sense. So, take like a very fancy meal, right? If you have very fancy meals, every single day, they stop being fancy to you. Honestly, I feel like that's like the main thing with like depressed millionaires and stuff like that. Sure, they have a lot of issues that they need to work out and whatnot, overachieving and etc. But also, a lot of stuff you did when you did it for the first time that brought you a shitload of joy doesn't bring you much joy now. And the main reason it doesn't bring you much joy now is because you did too much of it. The human body has a mechanism that fucks us up royally when it comes to these things. It's called homeostasis. And basically it basically means that whatever the hell happens becomes the new norm. And that goes both ways. It can go for good things, it can go for terrible things. You lose a leg, well, you're gonna feel pretty bad about it because you lost a leg. But after a while, you kinda get used to it. And it's the new normal, right? Whoops. It helps you keep going. It helps you keep it going. What gives you like spikes in joy and stuff like that are things that are out of the usual, right? And this is stuff that I put a lot of thought. Like, I don't meditate, but I like to think a lot about different stuff. And one of the things that I came to realize when trying to understand why this is a thing, right? So then they keep things in moderation, be humble, enjoy the moment. Yeah, pretty much. Because, like, here's the thing, and this is something that I figured out. Humans evolved to be nomads. Humans are tribal nomads. We're omnivore because we needed to be able to eat whatever the fuck we could find that was eatable. So a restrictive diet would cause us to die, right? Having too much of a restrictive diet would cause us to die. So we needed to adapt. We need to eat different things. Our need to eat different things is also tied with the fact that we were nomads. So because an animal in an ecosystem, if they only eat one thing, they will exhaust that thing, especially if there are no predators to keep them from multiplying too much, right? So, humans evolved to need to eat different things so that we wouldn't exhaust the things we could eat in our environment. And so we could adapt to seasonal things like fruits. So eating different types of fruits during different seasons is kind of baked in our DNA too, right? It's the little things. We were adapted to live a certain lifestyle. We changed that lifestyle because we have awareness. And this is me speaking off character. You guys know I'm actually a wolf, but I'm trying to relate to you guys, right? So we need variety. We exist to have variety. We need variety in our lives. We need a variety. We need a variety. And when you live in a way that allows you to have everything at every moment, well, that kind of creates an issue. That kind of creates an issue. So, if you have a self-imposed variety, right? Then you don't suffer from homeostasis, but you need to have the restraint for it. This is kind of what to me personally, this is my personal belief. I could be wrong, completely, absolutely wrong. But this is why most spiritual traditions or whatever, they preach humility, they preach humble living and stuff like that. It's not necessarily because living in the shitter makes you a better person, but being able to control your urges makes it so you can like take it easy, fulfill them little by little. You will feel better. You will feel better, and you won't suffer from the homeostasis just making it so things aren't fun anymore. I see this a lot with, like, weirdly enough, one thing that I see a lot is like with gamers. Gamers TM, right? Gamers Rise Up. Where people are kind of like, man, I have this dream finding an MMO that is just as good as World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft isn't good anymore. I don't know what happens. I used to feel so realized and satisfied whenever I played a new expansion, and now I don't. It doesn't do it. I have traveled across 1,000 different MMOs, and none of them do it for me. I just don't understand what's wrong nowadays. It must be the video game's fault. And then it's kind of like, okay. How much did you say you play of World of Warcraft again? They're like, oh, I played it my whole life. I've been playing it for like 20 years now. And I'm like, that's not the game's becoming shit. That's your body literally screaming at you to go do anything else. I am sorry, but it's true. The nomad instinct is kicking in. It's telling you it's time to move on to something else. That's why people get middle-age crisis and stuff like that, where they're like, oh my god, I spent most of my life doing this one thing. Now I want to do something else? What is going on? You were born a nomad. We were all born nomads. This is by design. This is by design. Now, what do you do with that is another question, because just because we have instincts doesn't mean they're necessarily good for us. Sometimes you gotta tame your instincts, right? Because there are stuff you can choose to do and stuff you can't choose to do. Not everyone is in a position where they can just restart their lives in another world with a smartphone. By the way, isekais make a lot of sense too, right? With the whole nomad instinct idea. Where essentially the fantasy is picking everything up and starting anew elsewhere. That's a very nomadic thing to do, isn't it? It kind of makes sense. It kind of fits, doesn't it? It kind of fits. I think I had like a teacher who said once that something along the lines of agriculture, our greatest achievement and our greatest mistake. Which is a bit of an extreme opinion to have, especially considering how much that helped with children not dying a whole lot, but you know. I mean, as a human back then, if you stayed in the same area and started flooding over time, it would be like, man, this sucks, but you can move as a human and do something else and move elsewhere better, right? Yeah, also, you weren't really supposed to stay in one place for long. The saber-tooth tigers were gonna pick up where you were. We're gonna start to pick up where your whole village was and kill everyone in their sleep. So that's also a good reason to move, and it was also a good reason to move because the animals would realize where all the humans are and would just not get close there anymore, so you wouldn't have animals to hunt anymore. So there goes the protein source, and the creatine deposits would just deplete and you wouldn't regenerate muscle. I discovered creatine as a thing recently, because the nutritionist recommended me to take it, even though she doesn't like to recommend supplements much. But in my case, because of how my body condition was, she thought it was a good idea to do. Creatine is a substance that is found in red meat mainly, and it helps promote muscle regeneration. So it's very important when you're going to the gym, because when you go to the gym, you just... basically you're tearing your muscles and forcing them to regenerate over and over, right? That's how you grow stronger muscles. You injure them. Basically, it's like you're doing a controlled injuring of yourself. That is healthy because it's like an expected kind of tear that your body is designed to heal from, right? And the creatine helps with that. Scientists and modern humans are like, man, I wish I saw saber-tooth tigers, and then the early humans are looking at us like we're psychos. Yeah. Again, because I studied environmental management was a lot of environmental sciences with a little bit of like business management in the middle. It's a weird course. But I do have this more nature-focused... I think I have a more nature-focused perspective for things because of it. Which is why I try to make sense of this from a more nature level. I'm off to the land of food. Have a good day. And if stream's over before I'm back. All right, Skay. Have a good one. And like, I think there was this one thing I was thinking, and I think I actually have a psychologist that agrees with me. I think Dr. K in one of his videos said something about that. Basically what is the purpose of having freaking social anxiety, right? Why do we need to have social anxiety? What is the evolutionary purpose of having that, right? And social anxiety is essentially the instinct of you should be likable. So if a tiger attacks your tribe, you are not the one who gets left behind to be eaten by the tiger. So that very feeling of like that FOMO, that feeling of like being left behind and all that, those things bother you because your body is reading that as signs of the tribe not liking you. And if the tribe doesn't like you, you're gonna be isolated, and you can't survive isolated, right? The human body is designed to crave connections because we can't live alone. Because as an animal, we are too weak to live alone. We stand a better chance against the elements if we're together, if we have someone to help us build stuff. Humans innately know that they can't do it alone, that they need teamwork, that they need people. They know that. On a gut level, they know that. Sometimes they forget. Sometimes they take things for granted. So that's why there are the social feelings and the social instincts. They exist, right? Because maybe if there's a food shortage, maybe Mac Asshole gets less food because he's Mac Asshole. No one likes Mac Asshole. You don't want to be Mr. Mac Asshole. You don't want to be Mr. Boggles. You want to thrive in a community, basically? To put it simply, right? It's not that you want to thrive in a community, but you want to make sure that the community wants to take care of you too, right? You want to care for other people because you want other people to care for you, essentially. It feels a bit transactional. But there is a part of you that recognizes the importance of being liked by other people just for the sake of survival, right? Yeah, mutual teamwork. I believe I had a teacher that called that the selfish gene theory. Which is a thing, by the way. There's a theory called the selfish gene theory. And the selfish gene theory talks about how on a genetic level, there is a selection towards genes that help each other rather than genes that hamper each other. So, what are genes, essentially, right? Genes are molecule configurations of the DNA and the RNA, right? The different kinds of the acids. Ribo something something, Dino something something. I don't remember their full name now. I am sorry, Mr. DNA, that I don't remember your full name. I'm terrible with names. But essentially they contain this neat piece of thing. These neat pieces of information regarding how to build a living thing. And these very much have kind of a will of their own. It's kind of weird it's a weird way to explain. But essentially the information in these codes want to exist. It wants to be expressed somehow. It's not quite a will, but it's like a thing. That it is a bit hard to explain, but let's go with that. They want to exist in the world, essentially. This information wants to be expressed in the world somehow. Now, this information is going to make up an individual, and there is a whole lot of it, right? Now, not all DNA will appear equally on the individual, but each piece of information that's contained in the DNA that makes up you is there somehow, right? So sometimes a gene doesn't necessarily appear, like let's say you have the blue eyes gene, but there is a black eyes gene in the mix. Now, the black eyes gene is going to be the dominant gene, right? So because it's the dominant gene, the blue eyes gene won't express. However, the blue eye gene will affect something else. There is always something. Like there's a bunch of genes that affect things that researchers don't really know yet, right? Which is why mapping the human genome is so complicated. But they always help each other somehow. They always help each other express somehow. When they don't help each other express, they don't help the genes that there were genes that would repress every information of other genes. These genes became extinct. And the theory behind it was because when these genes did not mesh, right? When you got the pair of genes, because the DNA does things in pairs, right? And one gene basically took all the glory, so to speak. What ended up happening was that the other gene was kind of like, oh, you wanna be this way, bitch? You wanna be this way, bitch? Okay, you know what? I'm not helping you express your stuff either. At all. So both genes became so these genes would self-destruct and destruct the lazy gene, so to speak, the gene that was stealing the show. And they would cooperate with other genes that would cooperate with them. And because they all did that, the evolution became the way it is, essentially. That's basically it. So the basic idea is that on a genetic level, All beings are like that. You don't have a species that actively harms its own species. You know? Because of that, it's on a genetic level. That's the selfish gene theory. Okay, so let me see if this movement... I'm gonna make it smoother, obviously. I just want to see if this makes sense. Yeah, no. It does, it does. Of course, this part here is completely screwed, but we're gonna fix it. Thank you for that new information. You're welcome, Kamugod. You're welcome. It's another part about your streams. I learn something new every time. Ah. I'm glad, I'm glad. I mean, I went to uni. It's gotta be useful for someone. Right? That actually reminds me, I found some old uni notes and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. It's one of my main obstacles for doing it, right? Could have become a teacher, except their pay rip. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I thought about being an English teacher, but like... Oh boy. That was an experience in itself. Just trying to get the job was amazing. I feel like I am too nice sometimes, like... There are some things I wish I had said to some of the people who interviewed me. Because, like, a lot of the places that I've been to, they were, like, they wanted to only hire teachers who had lived abroad for, like, X number of years. You know? And like, okay, one, that makes sense. Cool. Like, obviously having like native speakers or something teaching the language would, one, look very impressive on the school resume, right? And probably help with the learning and gives the student more confidence and all that. I get all that good stuff. But also, have you seen how much you're paying? Think about this carefully. Think about this carefully. You want someone who has lived in the US for like 5 years. We're in a third world country. What is the profile of someone who managed to afford doing that? Okay? And if they are loaded enough to afford doing that, living abroad for that long, what the fuck are they doing here? Sorry the language, but really, what the fuck are they doing here? Why didn't they stay abroad then? If they worked at McDonald's, they would probably gain a lot more money than what you're offering in your school. In your language school, okay? So why would they be here? That was like the thing that I was most like I rolled my eyes a lot, right? Because it's like, Maybe they're here because they screwed up terribly out there, right? If they were living out there for fun or for business, etc., why would they want to teach at your school? Like the school that I'm talking about wasn't even like from a big branch or anything like that. It was just like a school, a humble school that exists in a small town, and they wanted people who live it abroad. And they wanted to pay, let's see, 20 real per hour, $5 an hour. $5 per hour of teaching. That is terrible, yes. Like, due to how the rates are, it is not as horrible as someone in the US making $5 an hour, right? You gotta take into account that kind of stuff. But it's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. Especially if the person supposedly comes from abroad to teach there. And here's also a really, really, really funny thing, that here in Brazil, the only job that gets paid hourly is teachers. Everyone else has a monthly salary. Teachers are the only ones who get paid by the hour. Which is kind of bullshit if you stop to think about it, because teachers need to prepare classes. Yeah, I don't know why that is the case, Camel God. Which means that teachers need to take their own time to prepare classes, right? Prepare what they're going to say, they need to correct homework, and all that job of correcting homework, of setting up classes, etc., that's all not paid. That's all unpaid work. You're supposed to do that on your own free time. You even have to submit the syllabus for the school to see what you're planning on teaching. Yeah, I think... Yeah, I don't know any other job here in Brazil that gets paid by the hour. There is absolutely a belief that if you paid a lot of professions by the hour, they would the person would absolutely just stall the shit out of you to make sure they get as much money as possible. So it's either monthly or by job executed. Job delivered, so to speak. That is really interesting. Yeah, and I don't have no idea why teachers are like the only exception. All I know is that I had a teacher who one day was complaining in class about how she would sometimes get different job proposals, but they would all suck. Because they would be like trying to get her to work for the exact same rate as in our school. But they were further away and they wouldn't like pay for gas or anything like that. And it's like, no, screw you. Fast food places are known for paying by the hour, so McDonald's paid by the month then. Yeah, I don't think McDonald's paid by the hour here. Then again, I never worked for McDonald's, so I don't remember meeting anyone who worked at McDonald's. Except for my own father. My father used to work at McDonald's, fun fact. When I was little, he worked at McDonald's. Then he managed to get a job at a communication company. Did your dad tell customers about the Monty Python 2? Good question, good question. Hey Tommy, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Okay, so this is a rough draft of how we're going to do the idol. I want to make it as smooth as possible. And I am pretty sure that this banding here is completely wrong. A little groggy, but not too bad. That looks nice so far. Thank you, thank you. Here's with arms and hair. This is Hato. Hato is actually the person who, just a second, rigged my main model. This one here. The wolf boy. It was Hato who rigged it. And had the lovely features. To be fair, I forgot you. Look. I love my main model. I use it a lot in collabs in particular, right? But lately I've been playing like so many retro games, and during the pixel art stream it just makes sense. Let me hydrate. It just makes sense to use the pixel art model. Especially because when you're an artist, right? I remember the original model with the more pale skin. Oh god, hold up. I think I still have it. I won't be able to activate any toggles for it. There you go. There you go. This is the start. This was the beginning of everything. Oh god, the janky. The jankiness. This was so janky. Yeah, I know. I can barely keep my eyes open. There you go. That is one hell of a difference in design. Hold up. 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go. Oh, definitely. Didn't realize the pixel models were using mainly had retro strings. That makes sense. Retro strings and art strings because, well, in pixel form, I get to like use my model as a way to like advertise my own art, right? I feel like if you are an artist, VTuber, you're doing yourself a great favor by using your own art on your model. Not only because you're technically saving some money, like from getting the art from instead of paying another artist, you're doing it yourself. But also because it allows people to be more familiar with your art style, even when you're not arting. Because it's always like, oh, you did this yourself? Wow, that is cool. That is cool. Or if you're a rigger, you rig your own model. That is also a good look. That is also a good look. Hato drew his own model and rigged it too. And I think it works. I think it works. My favorite clip I have of you has your old model. Oh, really? Huh. I wonder what that was. I wonder what that is. But I do feel bad because I have been using that model a bit less since... I don't know, honestly... I kinda know that this one's a bit more popular. I posted a clip just now when you were playing Deadly Premonition. Ah, oh god, that game was so funny. I remember I had to fight with so much jank to play that game. But it was so funny. You know, I actually need to play that game again. Because I discovered a few things that were limiting my ability to capture the game at the time that I was playing it for the first time. And the cutscenes got cut out because of that. Don't know if you remember, but that playthrough had no cutscenes because the cutscenes were... The way the game was coded, right? The cutscenes didn't appear on the screen because they were being processed as a different window from the game. The game would like summon the AVI file or whatever and play it over the actual game screen. So whenever a cutscene played out, the game would just turn black for the stream. And the only way to properly capture a game when that happens is to capture the whole screen where the game is being played. That is the only way. You have to capture the full monitor. Then you'll be able to see everything. But also, you need to capture it while in windowed mode. Because if it's in full screen mode, it won't capture again. So for some old games, you kinda have to hack the game in order to create a windowed screen. A windowed mode where there is no windowed mode. I am doing that with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I'm actually having to do that. There are tutorials online, basically, on how to do that, but essentially you kind of have to insert a code in the game's code in order for there to be a windowed mode. And I don't understand how that works exactly. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better. It is very confusing. It is very confusing. But yeah, so I figured how to do that out, so... I don't know, maybe like maybe like on a string anniversary or something, we could play it again for a little while, just to be like, remember the good old times? I really like that game. I liked The Legend of Mana by my far. My favorite was Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain was funny. You know, I still have the other David Cage movies. I have a full collection for the PS4. My PS4. Oh my god, that actually reminds me. I left my PS4 for a repair evaluation, and I forgot to get back to the guys to see if everything is how much it would cost to repair. Completely forgot about that. You know, I could make Hato flossing. I could actually just make Hato flossing. Damn, I have too much power. As an animator, I sometimes have too much power in my hands. You know? Live Alive was a good game. Live Alive was an amazing game. That was such a creative game. That was like a golden age of Squaresoft. It wasn't even Square Enix yet, it was just Squaresoft. They were rival companies. I am back and full of noodles. Welcome back, Skay. Welcome back. I am positioning the ponytail. So I can think about how to animate this better. How was Live Alive 2 years ago? Time goes too fast. That is true. That is true. I've been at this for a while. Oh, okay, that is bad. No. There you go. I'm proud to have been here since year one. Yeah, 2001 was when I started. Goddamn, it's been so long. And so many things happened. No, 2021, not 2001. I have been the very first VTuber. Before VTubing was a thing, I was already here. I have been here before YouTube existed, apparently. And obviously there's gonna be movement in the arms, and I wanna. This looks really dopey, by the way. Man. I am too old. They're gonna bring me to the back and shoot me. Gonna bring me to the barn. Okay, so. Guys, that is all the time I have for today. I have singing lessons today, so we're gonna end the stream now. Hope you all have a wonderful day or night. I have a lot of stuff to fix in this one leg, but anyways, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful time. Stay awesome, and now we raid someone. Let's see here. Who do we raid? Bunch of people do arts. Hold up. First, let me see. You know what? Let's support Nano. Let's support Nano. Let's go to Nano. Everyone, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night. Stay awesome, and remember, when in doubt, when you think you can do it, just think like a ninja. And shuriken! Bye-bye, everyone! Have a good one! Bye-bye! Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye! Still forgot to click the button again, so it's still kinda awkward, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna pull through. There we go. We did it. Bye-bye!